Good morning guys. It is Monday and we are live. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is doing well. Let me just get Keegs in the shot here. Just set up the Zoom. Keegs, how was the weekend?
Exciting weekend. I mean, the sports made it for me, but it was a good weekend.
How's everyone doing in the chat?
Actually, we start analyzing stuff. Chris, please tell me you watched that Springbok game.
Dude, insane. Mental.
That was crazy.
And some would argue and say, yeah, they got a red card and a yellow card, but that was all due to pressure, dude. If a team literally destroys you in every facet of the game, like, that is what happens. So,
100%.
It was a sick game. And then obviously the upset, Fiji beating England.
Yeah, that was crazy. But I mean, even Samoa nearly beat Ireland. Like, Ireland literally only pulled the win off in like the last 2 minutes.
MGI Capital, good morning. David, good morning. How's everyone doing? Monday, 28th, massive week in the markets. Massive week. And I think on that note, we're going to get started. And Wednesday, we've got CPI coming out for the Eurozone. Quite a big one. It's Wednesday? No, it is Wednesday. I'm talking shit, it's not Wednesday. It is Thursday. We've got some CPI coming out. Thanks so much. CPI coming out for the Eurozone. Friday, obviously the big one. NFP Friday, also unemployment rate going to be a cracker. Yet to get any forecasts out as of yet. I know there is forecasts out. Let me just check what they're expecting for Friday. So Friday they are expecting, let's just get this out here, 170k jobs to be added. So not a high number. Usually like 225, 250. Expecting 170, expecting average hourly earnings to remain unchanged and unemployment rate as well to be unchanged. So big week ahead, guys. I think it's going to be a good one. Just stay disciplined, stay focused, and I think we will all come out in the end. So starting off with the weekly DXY, guys. I just want to chat about DXY. I actually did my analysis over the weekend, and one thing we do need to note over the weekend, I also changed my charts a little, Keeks. I don't know what you think. I'll play around. The black was just way too intense. I think this is easier.
Yeah, I was actually noticed it, but yeah, it looks nice.
So DXY, we were still basically in this downtrend from creating lower highs to lower lows, lower highs to lower lows. This little red dot that I marked out here, that was technically the last lower high we formed, also swing high. And last week we actually took out that high. So with that being said, we've got this idea that we can potentially start retracing after taking out that high. We've had 6 weeks of consecutive bullish pressure. Is there an opportunity this week to come lower? That is the question, but also we are currently in this prior area of resistance. Try to create support there, try to hold that support there as well, retested it. So this area is quite key, guys. We can't negate the fact that we are trading into some type of supply zone. With that being said, I am bullish on the week due to the fact that we did close bullish and we have yet to have a bearish weekly closure. I will get bearish next week if we get something like this, where we take out last week's high, close bearish back inside of this range below 104.30. But for now, to start the week, I am bullish. And on the day, let's quickly look at what we've got on the day. So daily, Friday, some type of ab roller candle or whatever they call it, but also trading again into this area right here. As you can see previously, massive area of rejection. Again, Friday rejecting that area. But even with that being said, I am bullish on the week. I am bullish on the day. Also remember that Monday, Tuesday usually trades the opposite end of the range, and Friday as well. So even though we're bullish on the week, we can pull back today and tomorrow to potentially continue bullish on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 5 minutes, let's quickly look at where we are. So currently trading below the daily pivot level, so currently making lower lows and lower highs. An area that I will monitor for the session is this 104.60, and if we fail to regain Asia lows, we can continue bearish for the rest of the day, and that is something that I will monitor, the Asia lows, and see where we go from there. US30, I thought I'd flip up the order, so we're gonna do US30 and NAS first up, because I know a lot of you guys are keen to see what's happening on that, and let me jump straight into it. So last week, as mentioned, this was the line in the sand for the bulls. The bulls had to regain that. What I will say is I will still give it one more week. If we can't close bullish back inside of this range, very high probability we're going to continue bearish. As you can see, my weekly bias is bearish, and I'm expecting as a minimum for this bottom wick to be filled. And once we fill that bottom wick and we start reversing, that is the potential for us to regain this area of prior support. Daily candle, Friday closed bullish. So technically my bias is bullish for the day, but as well we gapped up. So if we start rejecting this 34,500 area later today, I do think we can see something like this where we push up into that zone, and today actually comes down to break this structure right here. If we comfortably start trading above 34,500, then we can get a deeper pullback to come and retest this prior area of support up here, and we will see where we are at that stage. So bullish on the day, bearish on the week, and on the 5-minute time frame, let's quickly get some idea of where we are. So we already broke out of the Asia highs. We are trading quite far away from the daily pivot, so buys are going to be a little bit tricky today. I would rather look for some selling opportunities, but currently a lot of bullish pressure in the market. So unless my accumulation distribution starts flipping bearish, trading below the 200, no sells for me as of yet. What I will do is I will put some alerts at the Asia highs, 34,409. If we can hold that level, we can potentially look for some buys back into this daily zone, 34,460. So bullish on the day, bearish on the week. Nasdaq, quickly look at the weekly. No bottom wick on the weekly, interestingly enough. Did close bullish, however we never took out last week's low. As you can see, last week's low is still intact. Also remember last week, go back to Monday's analysis last week where I mentioned we're trading in between these two levels right here. Previous area of support, previous area of resistance, now potentially support. But what is interesting for me is that we took out last week's high without taking out the low. And as you can see from these highs right here, we created some type of support. This was a failed breakout because after closing bullish, we closed back inside of the range, came back to fill it. So could this be the week where we actually come down to create some type of bearish closure like this, closing below this area right there, and then it's quite an easy sell back into the range. So Technically, you'll see I placed here bullish on the week to be confirmed, because if we traded lower for the first part of the week and then started flipping bullish, then this is a valid support. But this is not a valid support until we've got a follow-up bullish candle. So also no bottom wick. So I'm gonna go with bullish on the week to also fill that wick, but we will need to see where we are. 5-minute time frame still trading nicely within the Asia range. We are above the daily pivot, and if I look at my accumulation distribution, we are bullish. So what I would say is that if we can trade above the Asia highs, also very close to the round number, but the Asia highs, I will monitor that, the 1500 area, and we'll see what we do at that level. Do note, no bottom wick on the daily, makes it quite tricky. As you can see there, Sunday open, also technically a gap there if you go and look on your broker feed. So Asia highs I'll monitor, Asia lows as well. GBP USD, let's jump to the weekly time frame. Weekly bearish. Last week, I think I mentioned if we close bearish this week, it's going to be quite an easy week for us. So I am bearish on the week. If you look at this, we closed below this previous area of support. We broke structure to the downside. We failed to hold this previous area of resistance. As you can see, multiple times we tested that level, bounced off it, and this is now the first closure in, what is this, almost 3 months. So I am bearish on the week. How deep we pull back, that is ultimately the question. Are we going to reject this previous area right there, or are we going to pull all the way back to test this neckline area of that broken down support? So bearish on the week. Daily time frame, we are bearish as well. Also no bottom wick on this daily candle. 5 minutes, let's jump to the 5 minutes and see where we are. Currently quite a bit of bullish pressure in the market, already tested Asia highs, holding it. Also my accumulation distribution starting to point upwards, but as soon as we start breaking below that 200, I would consider sells. And also I would say this 12640 area I will consider sells, but it's still 20 minutes away from London open. We can get a scenario where we push up, we fake
Yeah,
up.
Chris, just keep in mind, for London Open now, it is a bank holiday in the pound today.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So I don't think we'll actually get a lot of movement now in London Open. Yeah, they're the first thing. Literally the first thing there. Summer bank holiday.
Oh geez, yeah. So it's summer bank holiday in Britain. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Okay. Still, just from price action, this is something that we'll be looking at. Not going to pull the trigger as of yet on this or anything in mind. I just want to see what we do at these Asia highs. If we can maintain those Asia highs, great. But if we fail and we come back and do something like that, I will sell Asia highs to continue lower. That is GBP USD. USD ZAR on the weekly. Last week, as mentioned, the round number 19, psychological number right here, we failed to hold above that, rejected it I think on Monday, and I said 19 is going to technically be the pivot for the week. We did however break this last lower high, so how deep we pull back to be seen. We can pull back all the way to this weekly demand zone right there, or we can just pull back to say the 61.8 somewhere there and then start flipping bullish. But that is not our job as a trader. I'm trading what I see, and I see a rejection, I see a swing high, and therefore I'm bearish on the week. On the daily candle, Friday closed bearish. We do have this neckline area of support right here, and I think if today closes bearish below here, tomorrow is going to be quite an easy sell downwards. Otherwise, if we're going to look for buys, I want to see a bullish daily candle closure like that, breaking this resistance area there. So bearish on the day, we've got a bit of range to the downside, and we can monitor 1845 for potential continuations to the downside. So on the 5 minute, Let's quickly see where we are in the range and how we can execute on this. So technically still bullish on the accumulation distribution and currently trading at Asia lows. So what I would do is I'm going to put an alert for us on the Asia lows and see how we trade at the Asia lows at the open, and see if we can do something from there to come and retest the daily pivot. Otherwise, the other scenario is we're going to drop down, and then once we get the retest of the Asia lows, I will consider sells to bring this down to S1. Gold, very interesting, went over it the weekend. So weekly, and this is the thing, we actually chatted about it, I think it was quite 2 or 3 weeks ago. Myself and Keegan talked about this, where we took out that previous swing high that created a low, and I actually thought there was a very high potential for us to find some support in that area to come up and break this high that was created there. We however did not do that, we continued lower. So on the week, and this is the thing now, I am bullish on the week. And the reason I am bullish is because after we created a new low, there's a very high probability of a reversal back into a premium. So no bottom wick on this weekly candle however. So it is NFP Friday. Do expect some type of weird moves, I would say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it will start ramping up to the end of the week. Also, one thing I do need to note is this is not the week to try and swing trades early on during the week, because things can change going into the week. So be very careful on any dollar related pairs, and especially gold. So bullish on the week. Daily I am bearish, but this is where it's interesting now. Friday's candle never took out Thursday's high. I would have loved for this candle to actually take out Thursday's high, something like that, because then I know liquidity is taken, then it is a valid swing high and we can trade this wick fill. But either way, I'm going with bearish today. Also no bottom wick. We've seen last week, I think it was Wednesday's candle also have no bottom wick and just continued on for 2-3 more days. So I'm just putting it out there. I've seen it, there's no bottom wick. Somewhere along the line during the day you've got the potential to come and create a bottom wick, and then we can still flip bullish. But on the day I am bearish, and let me see where we are in terms of our Asia range. Asia highs, we already rejected the Asia highs. My accumulation distribution is also quite bearish. So I would say ideally if we continue to reject this 1917, potentially 1918 area, sells above there. Otherwise, high probability sells would be below the Asia lows and below the daily pivot at 193. But currently not necessarily looking for any buys. I like the sells to the downside. And then GJ, let's quickly jump down to GJ. On the week, bearish. This for me is an ideal scenario. You guys would hear me talk about highs getting taken out. So GJ last week took out the previous week's high, closed bearish. Also this current weekly candle has got no bottom wick. So how deep we pull back, I can't tell you, but I am bearish on the week. And then on the day, let's quickly look at my daily buys. I am bullish on the day. I do think we can potentially push all the way up here to test this neckline, some type of double top structure, we can argue. And then from there, I would say for us to confirm the bearish momentum, I would want to see price somewhere along the line, either today or tomorrow. Bearish daily closure below here, that is then a break of structure, and then we technically have a double break of structure, which would confirm the bearish momentum to the downside. With that being said, let's look at the 5 minute where we are on the range. So accumulation distribution, basically flat, trading at the 200. I did mention that I am bullish on the day, but however, if we can start breaking below the Asia lows, I would consider sells, and even this mid-range. So this is the half round number on GJ. So if we continue to reject this area right here, I would consider sells. That is the institutional level, the half round number. Let me just reduce the size here, and we can see where we are a little bit later in the session. Last one is UJ, and let's quickly look at where we are with UJ on the week. UJ, I am still bullish. I was bullish since that 7th of August week when we closed above this prior area of resistance right there. Can we get 148.77? It's not out of the question. That is your next weekly resistance area there. In between, there's no real resistance. So bullish on the week, and then going down to a daily time frame. Let's quickly look at where we are on the daily time frame. So nice little 3-wave pullback, little zigzag there. Closed above this previous area of resistance, even though it just closed above there. So I am bullish on the day, and then just looking left, we can push up all the way to 147.90. That is a reasonable target to the upside. So bullish on the day. Let's quickly see where we are on our 5 minute to just see where we are in the range. So currently testing the daily pivot 146.25, and guys, this is a price setup. If we can do something like this and regain the daily pivot, this is going to be a very nice move. This is one of my A+ setups where if I am bullish on the day, my daily pivot is below the Asia lows, and my accumulation distribution can also come in line. As you can see, the AD is still pointing up even though it's trading below the 200, but I will wait for this to do something like that where it regains the 200, and I will be looking for buys. If we get that, I think this is going to be a solid play for today's session. I think this is where I will place my focus for the session and try and lock it in on USD JPY. So first want to see daily pivot get taken out. I want to get some sellers into the market, and once they fake out the sellers, we will be taking it long, and I'm just going to set some alerts for us at 146.26, and that is going to be our daily pivot. Guys, that is the analysis. 7 minutes to go. Hope everyone is doing well. I think we will get some trades going to the session. Keegs, I believe you also want to sell gold today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm definitely selling gold. So for me, that's probably the only market I'm looking at today.
What will my analysis be on EU? Let's quickly have a look at EU. I don't trade EU, but I will quickly do the analysis for you. On the weekly, EU very clean. Let me just remove all of the drawings. So as you can see, last week was actually also very clean on EU. This previous area of support, we failed to hold that closure below. We are basically in this mid-range right here of this move up. So we technically do have range to go all the way down to 10700. Also literally no bottom wick on this weekly candle. So I will be bearish on the week. On the daily time frame as well, also bearish. We have yet to form any type of support. I do think on the daily time frame we can push up all the way to 108.40, or we can create an inside day here where we create a bullish candle similar to what we've had. If you look left here with me, support created, then broken, support tried to be created, then broken again here, support trying to be created, broken down here as well. So this is definitely a bearish market. There's nothing as of yet telling me we should be looking at longs. This is purely trending downwards, and it can change, but at this stage it is bearish. I'll be bearish on the day, and for the 5 minute, let's see how you can execute on this market. So already trading above the Asia highs, we already retested the Asia highs. Let me just bring up the Asia highs here, and let's see where we are. So as you can see there, already broke structure to the upside, came back, retested the Asia high, and now pushing up. Accumulation distribution also bullish. I cannot sell into that. I would need my AD to flip bearish. So currently bullish. I wouldn't say there's anything high probability on this for me. If we remain bullish on the accumulation distribution and we pull all the way back to 10800, I would say monitor this area for potential buys. If you can pull back to this zone and do something like a double bottom or like an engulfing candle, then I would consider buys. But I think if you weren't in from the Asia highs, you were late to the party. And also I wouldn't try and sell it as of yet. There's nothing yet telling me to sell it. Jeremy, thanks so much, man. Good luck. We'll see you in the week. AUD, USD, and we still have 3 minutes. I will quickly look at AUD, USD. Let's see. I don't even think I have it on my charts. AUD, USD. Just find it quickly. There's it. Okay, weekly is still bearish, even though we had a weak bearish closure last week. It is still bearish. Also no bottom wick on this weekly candle. Do be reminded that we can push all the way up into last week's range, even break last week's high, come up to that level right there to retest it. But bearish on the week. On the day, let's quickly look at where we are on the day. Bearish as well on the day, even though you can try and say this is some type of support. We haven't closed with a bullish daily candle there, so still bearish on the day. Once you get a bullish closure here, you can argue that it's some type of double bottom, and then we can come and retest that neckline, but still bearish. And on the 5 minute, let's just see where we are. Okay, so Asia highs are still intact. Daily pivot is basically at the Asia lows. So I think if we start failing at 106.435, these Asia highs, there you can look for potential short positions. Currently, accumulation distribution still pointing bullish, but if we start diverging, I would say a nice sell would be the Asia highs. Other than that, if you want to try and grab a breakout trade, I would say something below here, 106.400. If we fail to hold 106.400, that could be your secondary sell zone for Aussie USD. And this is your other potential sell zone, and that is only if we reject here. Do note we can break above and continue higher, but as it currently stands, it is bearish. Right guys, 30 seconds for market open. Hope everyone's got a great week, great weekend. what I wanted to say is I hope everyone has a great trading week. I do think it is going to be a cracker of a week. You're either going to make money this week or you are going to get wrecked. Only two things that can happen here, really.
But Chris, did you actually read up or find out more about that whole Powell speech?
On Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the consensus was that they are still quite relatively hawkish. They were actually talking about some additional hikes, and I just want to show you guys on the Fed futures was actually a shift now, not for the next meeting, but the meeting after that. Fed futures. Just get it here. Just want to show you guys. So 80% they expect rates to remain the same at the upcoming September 1, but this is where it's interesting. Yeah, the one for November, they're actually starting to price in a 0.25 rate hike, as you can see there. I think a week ago we looked at this was literally at 30%, and as you can see they're starting to price in now a potential rate hike for November. And I think as the week goes by, and Friday you'll see a lot of change on this one for the November 1st meeting. If we start changing here on the September 20th one, then I think there's obviously cuck in the market, because then they'll need to completely reprice what's happening with the dollar. But as it currently stands, yeah. And then after that, they basically just pricing in for them to hold it at that level. And I think January 31st, the market's expecting a potential cut. March, basically still expecting it to hold, and yeah, the market hasn't started pricing in any cuts after January. Because remember, Kiggs, earlier, I think it was a month ago, Oaks were talking about pricing in rate cuts even this year still, and now it's like, shit, there's no rate cuts coming up for us this year. We have to now start repricing what we're looking at.
Yeah, that's why I think it's becoming so interesting. Like, I think the market's really, like, this last few months of the year are actually going to be quite interesting. But I definitely do think, yeah, the dollar is going to clap a few people.
Team, what's the plays? What are you guys looking at to trade today? Give me some plays. Are you in trades from last week? Are you looking to trade something today? Give me some plays. What are the plays that you've got on your watch list for today? I'm liking UJ. If we can get those buys. And GU as well. Definitely have some potential here at the Asia highs. With that being said, guys, please give us a like on the stream. It's gonna help the channel. As always, we don't charge you for anything. We trade live here every day, Monday to Friday, 8:30 till 11. And next month, we're gonna start just see you next month, actually next week. So next week, gonna start with the NYSE streams, power hour, and we will see how that goes. NYSE stream will only be an hour, half an hour before the open. Actually, an hour and a half. I'll give it an hour and a half an hour before the open, quickly to run through our analysis on US 30 and NASDAQ, and then to try and execute on stream. I usually give it only like an hour after the open, and if I don't catch anything, I call it. USD JPY buys. Nice. Where are you buying from?
It's funny, I used to love USD JPY, and then I just haven't traded it forever.
I only recently brought it back on the watch list. There was a while where it was like very rangy, and then obviously with everything that's going on currently with the Federal Reserve and in Europe, really started to pick up in terms of volatility. That's why
I think that was the same.
That's why USD franc I don't touch. That thing is like snail's pace. Euro USD as well. I don't trade it. From Asia, low USD buys. Shit. So currently in drawdown. Guys, remember, I always wait for the first 15 minutes to clear. That is usually when the manipulation happens, and as well before the market opens, I don't trade. I've mentioned it quite a few times. That's where the majority of my losses occur, is pre-market. That's why I don't trade it. And there's been a lot of times where I had FOMO, pre-market, market is potentially setting up, and it's literally just in my rule set that I do not trade it. Alright guys, GU, I would like for us to push down, and if we can come back to retest Asia highs and start rejecting here, I'm going to start considering sells. So currently on the list, GU and USD JPY. If we do get something like this on UJ, where we push up and we come then back to retest the Asia lows, I'll be looking for buys there. But my ideal scenario is for buys off the daily pivot. But let's see. Monday, start of the week, no rush. I'll be right back, guys. Be sure to like the stream, follow us on Instagram, streaming daily Monday to Friday. And before I forget, just a disclaimer very quick, these streams are purely for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is not financial advice. Please seek advice from your financial advisor before making any financial decisions or commitments. You will lose money if you follow what we do on the stream. Therefore, take care and be diligent in what you do. Check you guys now. Give us a like, and I will see you shortly. Also, just want to thank our broker partner, Vault Markets. I'm actually starting today a new $100 challenge. We actually deposit now while we wait for our setups. And we are going to document all of it. $100 to, I don't actually want to put a figure on it, but let's see where we can get it to for December. Gigs doesn't need to be exactly $100, so it's 2K. Once I get it exactly right, let's see here.
I would even just go 2K.
1864. Let's make it 1870. Otherwise, X will say
You cheated the system.
that extra $5 or $10. So 1870 depositing now. So I'll most probably only trade US30 on it. So technically you literally have two guys with $100. Either gonna take a knock on your first one, or the first one's just gonna set you up.
You know, I must say, I think the whole thing of like Alex, like the initial strategy, I think is good though. Like you must just make it that like as long as every week you're doubling what you have, you'll be on target. Because like it sounds small in the beginning, but I mean later on it starts flipping very quickly.
Yeah, but doubling every week's not it's not an easy task though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's not easy, but it sounds easy. But I mean, if you say it a week, so for example, like every day you just need to chip away like 20. Well, the first week you just need to chip away $20.
Let's quickly get it up here. 1870. So locked and loaded. Let's just let Mo know. Start the content today on the $100 to. So Alex G, guys, this is where we're taking some initiative from. He's taking $100 to $1 million, and I think he said the last time he came to about, was it $700,000 or was it 500,000?
I think it was 500,000.
And then did he blow it? Kablowy.
He did something with it. I honestly can't remember.
8041. Just transfer those funds. Show you guys that it is in. Trading accounts. And then this will be the account that I will also trade during the NYSE live streams. And then
Chris, here's a question for you. So if you take a loss, do you see a loss as you finish in the day in a negative, or as long as when you go look at your like history, there's a trade that closed in negative?
I don't actually, the thing for me is like losses aren't like this thing where back in the day I was thinking about it over the weekend. and I was like, previously, if I took one loss, like I'm done for the day. It like my ego got crushed because you're like, flip, I'm wrong. Why was I wrong? You're going back, and it's like, flip sakes, why did I take this loss? And it's like this massive thing where it's now literally a case of like, I took a loss. I followed my plan. It doesn't even bother me anymore. A loss that bothers me is a loss where, for instance, that what we talked about, where you almost get that feeling like I'm catching on cuck now. Like I am gonna catch on you. Dude, I can tell you, and for the guys watching, like if you're gonna take a bad trade, like you already know, it's like you're a naughty child. And it's like, flip, I am actually naughty now. Why am I doing this? But you do it anyway, and then as soon as you're in the trade, you get yourself in so much guck.
Yeah, no, I just agree with that. The only reason I'm asking is because, like, I noticed the other day, like, Don will keep saying, like, how he hasn't taken a loss since June or July. But when he shows it, like, literally on his screen, you'll see, like, 4 or 6 red trades.
Oh, are you talking about considering, so I think that's very technical, because a loss is a trade that's closed in a negative. So you can maybe say, I haven't closed out a negative day, but you can't say you haven't taken a loss, because then your screen should only be...
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, exactly. So, like, to me, it's a very technical way he's saying it, but literally when you see the screen, there's like 6 or 7 trades that are like in red, but obviously he's closed out in profits for the day.
Neela, nice man. Yeah, my only thing is it's not a bad trade. My only thing is, like, look how far we've moved, and if I miss it, it's fine. But look at that move down. So I'm gonna either wait for some type of retrace, either back to the Asia highs or even just back to the pivot. But if you took this break and close below here, good luck. This thing can literally flush. Like I mentioned, I am bearish on the day, but I would just like some type of structure being formed here at the pivot, and then a break, or even coming back and retesting it. But I am bearish on the day, so actually,
well, I think you might get that retest, because the dollar is now retesting the Asia lows.
2593, that is where I will see how we do there. Alright guys, account is locked and loaded. Let me just pull it here so you guys can see it. 1870. Let's see, $100 challenge to whatever we get it to. Yeah, pound just shitting the bed now. 184. So I would still consider short on pound yen. I just want to see what we do at these Asia lows, or I would love a pullback back to 184.50, and then UJ I'm expecting is breaking above the Asia lows. Also DXY currently at the Asia lows, so let's see if we can get some type of support being formed here at the Asia lows. It is Monday, I'm not too keen to just jump into anything, so if we can hold Asia lows here, I am going to look for longs. The only reason I'm not taking this breakout is due to the fact that DXY is also at Asia lows. So if DXY starts failing here, we can actually get a fake out on UJ, where UJ basically pushes up into Asia and then the next candle literally comes down to break that structure and continue down. So no, I agree with you, Neil. I also don't necessarily like the breakout trades. It is Monday though. If it was any other day, I would consider it. But Monday, a little bit tricky. I'm also just going to quickly hotbox my office before. It's quite chilly. GU shorts. How do you think we'll get our pullback? Let's see. You're gonna consider selling these lows. Is below the 1915. I think if we can form some type of support here on gold and then break below, some very good selling opportunities there. Might go and create the bottom wick. I'm patiently waiting, guys. USD ZAR absolute pumping from the Asia highs. As you can see, massive move on the AD. Yeah, we're technically still in the Asia range on GU. Alright guys, UJ, what I want to see is I actually want to see UJ violating this area here to the left. I want to see us do something like that, break through it, come back to test Asia lows, and I will be executing longs from there. Otherwise, if we start ranging here, creating like some type of range at the Asia lows, I'm gonna wait for a little breakout and then I'm gonna execute the longs. Otherwise, I'm not buying this. I want to see us hold it. And then same with GU. I want to either see some rejections right here or at the Asia highs. Also, we've got the round number here closer to the Asia highs. So I would love a pullback back to that area. Keys, you want to sell gold? I'm gonna wait for better price.
My thing is at this point, yeah, I think I'm gonna hold out a little bit longer. It is Monday, so I don't feel like rushing anything. Just because of RR on my side, yes, we are at the lows, so I'd still have to wait for some confirmation. But on my side, I mean, just under the Asia lows, we're going to start crossing over the 200 EMA, and then also there's the equilibrium just underneath it as well. So you're going to get quite a bit of reaction in this zone. So I'd either like to break through this zone, or I'd actually like to rather be retesting the Asia highs, find support there and sell off from the Asia highs, just that better risk to reward.
Just ask Mo to check the audio on the stream. Somebody mentioned I've got a bit of an echo. Just ask him to listen in from his side. Just want to make make sure the audio is good. NGI, is the echo still there? Just let me know. Just want to sort it out.
Okay, he's gonna check it now for you.
Shotgun. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I need to tweak the mic still a little bit today. It's quite a bit that goes into streaming, trying to get the quality as good as possible at its best. Alright guys, we've created the session low. We are busy pulling back. Have we created the bottom wick on the daily candle yet? No. Okay. So 2 zones. Daily pivot on GU, Asia highs. Ideally Asia highs. That's going to give us the best risk to reward. USD JPY, still like the pivot, but we obviously need to wait. I need to see what we do at this area right here, and then also we need to see whether DXY can get above the Asia lows and hold the Asia lows. So currently rejecting Asia lows, so nothing there for me as of yet. While we wait for our setups, just want to mark out our weekly pivot level quickly. So that's our weekly pivot level. And then our weekly R1. Keegs, Rugby World Cup, dude, I think it's been quite a bit of upsets. Who do you have as the favourites?
Obviously, I must say I'm going with the Springboks. But genuinely, hey, like not just because of being a South African, but I think as players, I've been having this argument with people for so long. Yes, Ireland's been playing well, France is playing well, all these things, but they peaked way before the World Cup.
Yeah.
And if you're watching any of their games, not just like this last week, but the last few months, they're not near the caliber that they were. And I think that again stands for that they peaked too early. With where the Springboks, we are peaking again perfectly at the right time. So yes, we might not have certain key players, but we've got a really up and coming talent that's definitely stepped up to the party. So I must say I do see us as a favourites to back in it. And I think in the side of history of like the side of us going back-to-back champions, I think this is the best chance we've ever had of doing that. But I must say, have you seen what they've been talking about, the Colby's curse? So there's that famous photo of after he stepped Owen Farrell in the World Cup final, where he scored that try. Every single England player that was in that photo has received a red card and is banned for the first few games going into this World Cup. So the Kenya is banned and will be missing it. Owen Farrell has obviously received that ban now and will be missing the first 2 or 3 games. And then Joe Marley literally just had that fight now over the weekend and is under review for a red card, which will also probably end up as another ban.
Hectic. No, dude, I think we've got literally, and initially I thought we lacked depth, but I actually feel like we've got a lot of depth in our team, like a lot.
Yeah, no, it's quite crazy. But it's also like I was watching another thing of this guy, he's a ex-player, and he said like the one thing why he actually reckons South Africa is going to do so well is he talks about like your identity. So he says like, for example, Ireland is, they play a very skillful game. So it's very high skill, and when it is executed, it works very well and it's beautiful to watch. But it is very, very high level, and the minute things aren't clicking, then they fall apart.
Yeah.
And they, for example, have that where he says like South Africa is simple. He says like any guy that probably doesn't play rugby can go play for them now. Might not be good, but he'll know what is expected of him. He knows what his job is and what he has to do. But as people say, like our game is quite obvious what we're going to do. From 1 to 12, you know what they're going to do. But it's a much harder thing to stop them in doing that. And then when you go to your 30th and out, we've just got magic. Like you got guys that can put points on you from anywhere in the field.
Dude, I think we've got the most abrasive team in the World Cup. Like literally the most abrasive team. Like they literally hurt guys on Friday. I don't know if you've seen, like I think closer to half time, literally 2, 3, 4 guys on the New Zealand side, like eyes gashed, like shiners, oaks limping.
I mean, 90% of the guys on that field were all bleeding somewhere.
Yeah. And I still checked it out and I was like, we haven't even released our bench. Our oaks still look fresh, like the starting 8, and they're literally bruising these guys. Alright, guys.
I think that.
Yeah, sorry.
I was just saying, I think that will literally go down in the history as one of like the most like iconic games.
Dude, and somebody I thought was not going to be ready or like match fit is Sia, dude. But Sia, how quickly did he get back onto form, eh?
Bro, the amount of people that have actually been talking about that, because I'm saying like in general, like you have ACLs and LCL injuries and operations. A normal person, that's about a year. You out with rehab and all this type of stuff. With sports, the advanced technology we have and all that stuff, like a lot of the guys push like 6 months and they're back on it. Sia had the op, did rehab, and is match fit, playing one hell of a game against Wales, and then flipping the All Blacks. And he's come back in just under 4 months. Like, that is ridiculous.
Is it 4 months? Did he do his ACL or?
They did his whole ACL and LCL. And in 4 months, he's literally back on the field like nothing's happened.
No, dude, he's a machine. So the first time I played with him was I was playing under 19 Curry Cup. He's a year younger than me, and we basically had him and one of the other oaks that played for Grey P. And I thought like he was quite a lanky guy. Wasn't built like he's built now at school. And I thought like, why would they get this guy in? Because I wasn't watching the school scene, but dude, literally he was a matric. He played with us under 19, and he was like this very elusive ball carrier. Like I would think they're gonna smash him, and he would slip out of tackles and run over guys. So I think I played 2 games with him when he was still here at Eastern Province.
Yeah, no, he's a beast. I mean, we had to do a practice session with him the one time, and I always say to people, like, you look at these oaks and you never actually understand how big or how strong and how hard they are. And I said, just when you go to like tackle him, like how he is now today, yes, just his legs are like tree trunks. Like, it's not just that easy to tackle that guy.
It's like when I was standard 9, we played Grey Bloom 2007 St. John's Easter Festival, Grey Bloom, and that was that year. I think they had 16 guys in the cheetah Gravenwick side. So Cooney, C.S. Everson, Robert was the fly off and centre pairing there, but Cooney. So we saw this oak, and that's before, obviously before Cooney was on a map. I think he did play at SA schools in matric, but dude, that was the first time when an oak literally ran over me that I didn't even know where he was. Like, dropped the shoulder for the tackle. It was literally like a bucky. Imagine a bucky driving at like 60 k's per hour hits you, and after a while, after you've spun and you fell back and you check the oak is still running, took like 3-4 guys just to, yeah, that oak was a tank. I don't know how it was legal for him to play at school rugby, because literally the same size he's now, that was his size in matric. Chris, what do you guys think of Verstappen equally? Dude, I'm done with F1. What are you talking about?
Oh my word, that this weekend. Oh yes, this whole race was a joke this weekend. Oh my word.
But again, dude, we have to give it to Max. I think we talked about it last week in the office. Like, look at Perez, same car. Max literally pulling 3-4 seconds in a few laps. Like, I don't know what is up with Perez, but yeah.
But it's like you said, you still got to give it to the guy. He is a good driver, and I don't take away his talent, but it's the same thing people always argue with Hamilton, that it was his car. But for example, the same thing, you could look at what Hamilton was doing and you could look at his partner, and they weren't the same, even though it's the same car. But people would always complain, oh, Hamilton's only good because of the car. It's the same thing with Max now. He does have a car that is by far the best car on the grid, but he is still a good driver. So hand in hand together, you can't touch them.
Neil van der Westhuizen is obviously a Max fanboy. Can he win all races? Dude, I honestly think the only way that he's not going to win all of the races is either his car needs to break down completely during the race. I honestly don't even think he can lose, even if it gets like a gearbox replacement or like an engine replacement. It has to take like a 10 or 20 position grid penalty. I honestly think he can start out of the pits and win. Like,
my thing is, like, I honestly, I don't even see him crashing. Like, I literally, no matter what the conditions are, I don't even think he's capable of crashing that car. The only way he's going to crash is if someone takes him out. But him himself, I don't see him spinning or going into a barrier or anything like that.
Yeah, Neil. So I'm done with F1. This weekend was the last race I watched. I'll maybe consider coming back next year. And if you were wondering, I am a bad loser. Just so that you know. I'm not going to try and hide it. Alright guys, DXY coming back. 30 seconds. Little breakout here. I do think we can get back into the Asia range. GBP USD breaking structure a little bit far away for me from the daily pivot. What is this? 10. I am considering it. Am I considering it? No. No, I'm not gonna itch. Let's see, we've yet to take out the Asia lows. I would have loved for this to just move up. So if we first had support, retest, and then this break, if this was just moved up, I would have considered sells from these lows. USD JPY, let's see. I just want to get a retest here. If we don't get it, and then gold, I think as soon as we break below here, very high probability for some sells lower. no FOMO. Remember, it's quite early in the week, guys. Don't stress too much. There's going to be a lot of opportunities in the markets. We will get something. I am in short at 1917. Nice, lads. I think your biggest thing on gold for the guys that are short 1915, this level right here, we do need to close below it, and actually the Asia lows, because if you look left with me from Sunday's open, we've had multiple tests on this level. So if we can't get through it, I do think we go back higher. So just monitor that for the guys that took shorts. And I also think once we start breaking below this, we're going to get quite a sharp move down to 1913, 14, that level. Any news on what's happening to gold? Tafid, Sully, what do you mean by what's happening to gold? Gold is still within the Asia range. Gold has literally moved 22 pips from the Asia high, so I wouldn't consider that to be anything happening with gold. Usually gets match fit at clubs. That Owen is a dirty Harry. Andre Barnard on Vault Markets, when you set up your account, what do they mean by no bonus, bonus, micro bonus, promotions? So I think there was a 250% bonus. This is the one that I took, so it's literally 250% credit that they give you. Oh no, is this the 200%? So you can either get that just gives you additional capital or additional margin, but it's completely up to you as to what you take on the Vault Markets account. For this account flip challenge, I like using the one where they give you the bonus just for additional margin. But in terms of my main account, I go no bonus. Just purely due to the fact that you don't need it. But especially for smaller accounts, the bonus I think could help. Yes, I checked now what you mean by Friday gigs. Gold just slapping the eggs. Team, be honest, who traded on Friday? Be very honest with me. Who traded after 4 o'clock on Friday? And don't lie to me, please. Be honest with me. Who are the gamblers that traded after 4 on a Friday afternoon? chat to me, your eyes glowing up, seeing the volatility, and you were like, we're gonna smash the markets, and you absolutely got cracked. And be honest, we've all been there. I've told my stories of giving away like literally almost the entire month's worth of gains on a Friday afternoon. You literally work to build up that account for like a month, and on that one Friday, and apologies for my language, you fuck it up completely. And there's no shame in it. There's only shame in it if you did not learn your lesson. Take that experience, what you felt on Friday, your entire weekend was ruined. You were so optimistic to have a good weekend, and then you were just the architect of your downfall on a Friday. Did US 30 and got a profit on a sell. Nice, lads. Good. How is US 30 looking? I'm thinking of only keeping gold US 30 on my watch list. Less is better. What do you think? Yeah, obviously, like I mentioned, my idea is at the end of the year to only trade US 30. So I'm slowly but surely transitioning to that. Very keen for the NYSE sessions. Yeah, I'm also very keen for it. I'm really enjoying trading US 30 during NYSE. I don't trade it during London. I just watch it move. Very rarely. Actually, I don't trade it during London. I can't even say that I trade it sometimes during London. I keep my bullet on US 30 for NYSE. That's when most of the volume occurs. I took GU sales on Friday. Entry was 2695. Nice. 2695. Yeah, round number. I think we mentioned it was the daily pivot as well. There was no structure break for me, or there was a structure break, but it was almost, what is this, 20 pips, actually 50 pips away from the pivot. So no, the only trade I took on Friday was GJ. Just show you guys, I actually posted it on my story. This was 22.5. I was just quickly browsing through the charts. I was bearish on the day on Friday on GJ. We had this spike of the highs. No, that's not what I want to do. You see that little high there, that equal highs? We spiked that, and as soon as we got this break of structure right here, I executed on that 5-minute candle there. Stop was 20, and I actually bottom ticked it. So I'll tell you now why I did that. So as soon as price spiked down like this, so that candle wasn't formed yet, I was like, okay, from the pivot we've already moved almost like 30 pips. I don't want to sit through the pullback. It is Friday afternoon, and I locked it in right there. I think it was a 1.5 or 1.2% gain, and after that closed the charts. Sell on Dow was on, but got clapped with liquidity sweep on Dow. 4:15 candle. Carl, thank you for that honesty. No shame in that. Yeah, Friday was brutal on Dow. I was literally waiting for something here. When was it? Up until 5. So I was waiting for the daily pivot, for something to break here. But once we had this move up, I was like, I'm done. Waiting for the accumulation distribution to get above. Like, it was quite a long week. So alright guys, DXY holding Asia lows. GBP USD, let's quickly look at whether we can take something here. So we've broken Asia lows. 5 minutes before the hourly. Alright guys, so GU 5 minutes before the hourly is going to close strong bearish. Yeah, closing strong bearish. And what I'm going to do on GU is the following. If we can get something like this where we pull back into the Asia range and we then break structure lower, I'm going to sell it. Or if we even just push up a little bit up to this previous area of support and we then get a minor break of structure, so pull back, create the bullish candle on the low, push up again and then break the low, I will be selling GU. So GU on high alert for me currently. Pound yen currently trading below the Asia lows. We have already tested it, rejected it. We already had a very nice pullback into that zone, and I'm gonna do exactly the same. I want to see us pull back into the Asia low and then a break of structure, and I will execute short. So both pound pairs and then USD JPY is gone. Honestly wouldn't have taken it here. I will now wait, even maybe later on in the session, for the Asia lows to get tested. Other than that, if this thing runs, it runs. US 30 later for today, I'm going to check this gap fill. As you can see, Sunday futures gapped up. So if I get a pullback later today into this weekly pivot, I am going to try a long, because currently the 80 is pointing up. And as mentioned, we can trade into the opposite end of the range on Monday, Tuesday. Took a 1-1 on GJ Friday afternoon. Well done, man. Took 80% off on GU, stops at break even. Well done, Neil. Very nice move from the pivot. What is this? Yeah, 15. Beautiful. I'm very tempted to take sells on gold. Very, very tempted. How's the hourly going to close? Your hourly bearish. Still an hour left for the 4-hour candle.
In the past, I probably would have also taken that, but I don't think I'm going to now. Like I said, I'm just going to wait for the more preferable entry, especially knowing that that volume is still coming to the markets a bit later.
Yeah, and also the hourly closing in 2 minutes, guys. I'm just gonna quick. I'll see you guys now. Please leave a like on the stream. Appreciate all of you guys being here. Neil, I know we're not making use of the 1 minute anymore, but there was a 1 minute engulfing on the daily pivot retest. But the nerves killed me as it was close to news, got out before it dropped. I also don't trade news events, I only trade it afterwards. But I'll be back in 1 minute, guys. Follow us on Instagram, Monday to Friday, 8:30 till 11. Check you guys now. Right, guys, hourlies have closed. Gold. As I mentioned, after all of these retests, I was expecting like a nice little flush down. I don't trade smart money concepts, but the fact that the market failed to bounce off from this level, if you keep tapping at a rock, at some point it is going to break, and we got our break. GJ, very tricky price action here as well. I do not want to get myself into trouble here early on in the week. But GU, as mentioned, if we can get a nice pullback and a break of structure, I will be executing on the break of that low. Otherwise, if we hold Asia or regain Asia lows, I will be staying out. But I do think Keegs, is the office still hot on your side? I'm flipping freezing here in my office, bro. Yeah.
It's not actually as hot as what it was, but I think, I think they brought it down. But yeah, it's not that bad anymore. But you have one in your room, can't you?
Yeah, I'm putting it on now.
But you see, that's what we're waiting for there. I mean, gold shot down and it come right back up again.
on that pivot. I don't know, guys, these pivots don't really work, but for some reason price always bounces off them or rejects from them. DXY also almost at the daily pivot. GU at the Asia lows. My only concern is I think it was last week. This was one of the only losses we took, was we had the direction down. Yeah, it was here. So okay, that was actually from the daily pivot. We took our sells here, pulled back, and then dropped from there. But that was the daily pivot and not the Asia lows, so no, can't base it on that. Yeah, guys, so locking it in here. Nice little pullback. I would like one more 5-minute candle push up, retest this previous area of support right there, and then a nice bearish engulfing candle closing back below the Asia lows, and I will be selling. So just letting you guys know, this is not financial advice, but this is purely what I will be doing. I will be selling these Asia lows because I sell low and I buy high. No, I'm kidding. It's not what I do, but that is the Asia low there. Please note, I need some type of engulfing candle here. I can't just sell on one bearish 5-minute. Or the other scenario is we create some type of resistance here. We get a bullish candle closure above, and then the next candle comes down and breaks that structure. So that is the other scenario. That is the only way I'll be selling these Asia lows. Same here with GJ. If we can get some type of bearish engulfing candle here, I will consider sells 100%. So keeping both of those on my watch list. Laz, I hope you took profit on those gold sells. Rika, Che, good morning. Guys, just to confirm, Rika is a guy I mistakenly thought it was a chick. So I just want to put that out there. Alright, 1 minute GU. Let's see, nice engulfing candle. Are we gonna get our flush DXY also here at the daily pivot? GBP USD. Just be aware that we can be a John Wick on this. We are bearish, however. Let's see. I'm gonna take a punt on it. But I think we created, I don't know, dude. This is, we do have a daily bottom wick to fill. What's that? 48. How far down? 27 pips. Let's see, guys. 15 seconds. Feel free to take the buy when I take the sell. But I am going to pull the trigger here, and like I mentioned, not financial advice. Either way, you're gonna get value, either by fading me. Alright guys, I took the shorts. I'm gonna go for that daily wick fill. I think it was down here, 27 pips. At 15 pips, I will take off 90%, move stop loss to break even. This is a trade trading below the daily pivot. Asia lows, not the ideal sell scenario, but I'm going to take a punt on it. And let's see if we can just grab a quick 1-to-1 on this. 15 pips and I will be happy. Let's see if it can work out. UJ is still grinding up here. GJ rejection off the Asia lows. Let's see, first trade of the week. Let's see if we can grab some pips to start off the week. No top wick on this 5, not ideal. So we are going to create a top wick at some stage. There we go, top wick created. Hourly candle, already created a top wick. Now to flip bearish, I think if we can break the previous 1 hour low, we can get a nice flush to the downside. But let's see, this is the trade that we are in. This will most probably be the only trade for the session. The rest of the pairs have already moved. So wish me luck. Ideally, I would like for this 5 to close below this area right here. I do not want to see this hold that level. If it is going to hold this level, I'm just going to close out. Because that means there's not enough liquidity to drive down and we can potentially come all the way back up. So just be aware of that. If we can't close below that level, I will be closing out the trade immediately. And the reason for that is then this high becomes a weak high, because from that high we failed to take out structure to the downside, so price will then most likely target that high. So I want the same that we had here, bearish, broke the lows, pull back. So I want the same sequence of events. If you don't get it, we are out of here. Also, we are at the session lows, so two things can happen at session lows or highs. We're going to continue, or we're going to start pulling back, and then this was the move for London, and we can pull all the way back to the daily pivot or even the Asia highs for NYSE session. Alright, 8 seconds, close bearish. Want to see a little top wick. I want to see this break and continue lower. Very weak bearish closure, but let's see if we can start breaking these lows and the session lows and flush. All good in the hood, but if not, this can be some type of double bottom. So let's see. Alright guys, monitor the session lows. I want to see us flush as soon as we take this low. I don't want to see us trying to hover around there. If we get there, I want to literally see us flush down from there. If we do something like this where we take that low and then immediately pull back up, I'm going to close, but I want to see us flush the lows. And even this 5 minute, I don't want to see us holding this level. If we're holding this level, I'm closing out, because as mentioned, we are at session lows. And we either need two things to happen. We need price to flush, give us the momentum, basically shake out all the buyers that's trying to buy GU, or we are the ones that are going to get flushed for selling session lows. So two sides of the coin, flush or get flushed.
Now people just need to forward some peach emojis there.
Yeah,
give some volume to the market.
Laz, can you tell us what your stop? It's set at 15 pips, dude. It's 125.90. Always for major pairs it's 15, it never changes, and then for JPY crosses it is 20 pips. Guys, I've gone break even on this trade. If I get stopped out, it's fine. I don't like how we holding these lows. I would have loved the flush, so I'm break even on the trade, still barely holding on. What is it, like a pipette? What is this, 1.5 pips? I'll let you know if I'm out. I'm still barely holding on, but again, session lows I want to see flushed Okay, break even. Very tricky when selling session lows. If there's volume, it's going to continue lower. I don't want to see it hold. As mentioned, the ideal sells were here and Asia highs, so we gave it a shot. Only reason why I took it is because you've got the chance that price can just flush lower. So break even for me on GU. And as I mentioned, we can bottom out here, and this could be the start of the retrace, because we've made quite some ground from these highs. And GJ as well failing to take out the session lows, so again you can now start to get a pullback back to Asia highs and back to this half round number right here.
Yeah, Chris, just to add to that, I think where that momentum also was slowing down was the dollar index. So the dollar index is actually breaking through the lows. It's actually already right at Asia, near the Asia highs.
Yeah.
So I think it's starting to just slow down a bit. But that thing is moving very fast.
No, you have to give it a try. I would have kicked myself if we just flushed from here. This is a valid setup for me, this engulfing. This is the setup that I like to see at rejection areas, or I like to see like some type of double top. So what we can get here, and I would again consider re-entries, is a pullback back into Asia range, creating this type of double bottom, or that the retail market would think is a double bottom. And then if we can come back with one strong 5-minute candle and break these lows, I'm gonna enter, because then they've sucked in buyers, and then the guys that are buying are gonna try and buy again, and you know how it goes. So that is the other scenario for re-entries. And GJ, I am still wanting to sell. So ideal sell scenario, half round number 184.50. If we can pull back into that zone, beautiful. Gold, as I mentioned, I wanted to sell that, but I don't even think that was a massive move. What was this? Not even 10 pips. UJ,
Yeah, as you always say, it's not something to trade off, but just taking note as we are bearish for gold for the day. We actually are, the EMAs have swapped over, and we also are trading below the 200 EMA now. So I definitely think that is just another confluency for the direction for the day.
There's nothing on deck this morning, eh? Oh, nothing. German Baba president. Nice hold here of Asia highs on US 30. Not interested. Break of structure on NAS. Just gonna wait now for potential re-entries, guys. GJ, half round number 184.50. We've got our alert set there. Other scenario is a potential break here or failure at Asia lows, and GU as well, as I've mentioned. I would like for this to pop up into the Asia range and then a strong candle to break that, and then I think we've got some liquidity to flush. Sure, the slow-fi music will put you to sleep, dude. My goodness. Yeah, guys, sorry I can't play other music. That one stream we did where we played other music got taken down due to copyright. So we're still cleaning up that video. I don't know if it's visible yet, but it got blocked. GU. Nice little flush here. DXY making its way to Asia highs. Let's look at GJ. No guys, I'm not gonna look for any re-entries. Made a new low on the session. However, I am going to set my alerts for NYSE at the daily pivot 12593. If this is the low of the session, very likely we will pull back before NYSE. Good morning, feel like I missed, you didn't really miss anything. We had a break-even sell here on GU. Other than that, you didn't miss much. We were talking about sells on gold. Gold is yet to move. And we wanted to buy UJ from these Asia lows. Didn't really get a retest there. I actually wanted to buy it from here. Go back to the start of the session, you would see I mentioned I just want to see us dip below it and then regain it. I also mentioned that this setup here in a buy scenario is my A++ setup. Only thing is we didn't test the pivot. But this for me in a buying scenario, buying below the Asia lows, pivot below the Asia lows, and I'm bullish, and you've got your accumulation distribution still pointing bullish as well. That is my class A setups. If I had to go full margin, these are the setups that I will go full margin on. Break of structure here on GJ. I am very tempted to sell this. I am not going to lie, I am very tempted, but it is Monday. We've got no bottom wick on this daily candle. We've already taken Friday's high. Decisions. Where are we trading on the 4 hour? Yeah, guys, I can't take it. It's not a high probability sell. Selling Asia, selling session lows. There are ways to trade it, but we've got no news coming out, and usually if you've got a lot of volume in the market, session lows usually act as like some point of liquidity. So for instance, the retail market would try and buy a session low if you get something like this, and then once you spike through it, you actually get a capitulation move where it's a very strong and aggressive move down. But to be fairly honest with you, there's not a lot of volume in the market. If I look at where we opened, we on GJ for instance, we've moved 23 pips from London Open, which is nothing for GJ. Yeah, it's typical Monday. Gold has literally almost not moved. What is this? 15 pips on gold. So no bueno for me on that. I do feel sold USD JPY Friday, but else what is your take in Mr. Chris? Did you sell UJ on Friday? Are you still in a sell or did you take a sell? For me personally on Friday there wasn't any sell that I would have taken. On Friday we mentioned that we were looking for buys. So on Friday we mentioned the pivot, so after news we had that move into the pivot. Yeah guys, if you are late to the stream, go to the start of the stream. I ran through all of the setups for the week, the weekly bias, the weekly analysis, all done. MGI Capital sold EU at 108.12. If you sold there, just be aware of the round number 10800. Those are all major institutional levels, your round numbers and your half round numbers. So just be aware when you trade, those areas usually attract a lot of volume. Either you can either flush through it or you're going to find some support there. Euro USD, let's quickly have a look at it. Always remember when you enter a trade, you want to monitor where's your closest round number or half round number, and you want to monitor your session highs and your session lows. So MGI cap sold at 108.12. Okay, so you sold literally. Okay, you sold there. Okay, so you should be good. We took Asia highs, we haven't taken Asia lows, so I would say high probability we can come and take Asia lows if we don't get a pullback from here. But I would say your ideal scenario here is like some type of pullback and then another break of structure right here. You don't want to see EU holding this daily pivot level. You want to see it break down below. Guys, unfortunately nothing else. It is Monday. Don't expect too much on a Monday. I took my one shot on GU break even. What I'll wait for now is this afternoon. Gigs, I don't think you're gonna get a trade on gold, to be honest. This thing is not moving.
Yeah, this is just like chilling out. I'm a good time there and don't want to leave. But you know what they say? You can't park there, so it's gonna move eventually. We're just gonna wait. We're gonna be patient, yeah. I still, like I said, I would preferably like that sell off the Asia highs. So I would like to come back a bit, hold those Asia highs, and from there I'll start to go for that sell. But I don't think it will happen now. Definitely not now.
GU. There's quite a bit of movement now in the markets. GJ, I am bullish on the day. No bottom wick. Oh yeah, guys, another one on GJ monitor. Put your alerts at 184.77. Before I forget, that's the weekly pivot. So if we are going to go bearish, 184.77 area to monitor weekly pivot level. Alright, so DXY going to battle here at the daily pivot. GU back at Asia lows. It would be an absolute peach if we can push all the way back into this level right here. That is our probability sell zone. Let's hope we can get some type of pullback back into that zone. Keenan Benjamin, hi Chris, trust you are well. Thanks for your stream. I only recently started watching. Just wanted to know if you use Volt markets to trade. Stupid question, I know, but just curious. Keenan, yes, I do. I do use Volt. I do feel, especially for the indices, and I don't think anyone can disagree, Volt's execution and spreads on indices, US 30 and NAS is very good. Please just be aware, I'm not getting paid by Volt. I only get paid if you use my link in the description. So if you want to support the channel, or if you want to support me, sign up with that link. Other than that, I do use Volt. For the guys that are late, as I mentioned, we're starting a $100 challenge today. I just deposited this morning $100, obviously in rands, and I will most probably only be trading US 30 on this account. The previous one we failed at, I think it was 7k if I'm not mistaken. Let me just go back. Took 1,000 rand to 7k and I just went full margin the one afternoon. I think I had like 0.006 lots open on US 30. Let me get that history. So we're gonna try again. Where did we take the knocks on it? It was, let me just go last month. Yeah, here's it. Let me pull it up here. So started with 1,000 rand and built it up, and yeah, this is where I went full margin. So we're gonna try again and see how far we get. And it was mostly US 30 that was traded on this. So we're gonna give it another bang, see how far we get with it. Mandla, I don't know yet for duration. I told Keegan I also don't necessarily want to say like $100 to $1 million or whatever, because unfortunately in trading it's not like you can set out like a daily goal or weekly goal, because there's going to be weeks where there's not a setup. So This time around, what I'm gonna do different is because like when we were at 7k, I didn't actually have to risk the entire account. If I just basically took my loss, I think I had one position open, it would have been like a 700 rand loss. But I was adamant to try and flip the account from like 6k to 35, 40k because I basically didn't have patience. And Mo, our creative guy in the office, he was sitting next to me, and I wish I could have videoed him. And he was checking the charts with me, and it's like, Chris, what's happening here on the charts? And I'm like, dude, we're gonna start getting margin called now. Quickly bring it down and check it. And once we started getting stopped out, I'm telling the guys, yeah, your reaction on when we blew that small account channel. So, and he was just like, yo. But anyway, guys, here's some of the mouse pads that we will be giving out at the launch event. I don't know if you can see it. Let me just see the slogan for the office is hard work beats talent. There you can see it. So for the guys that have been invited, you're gonna get a nice little mouse pad, some whiskey, cigars, a nice whiskey glass. And if you're not invited, ask yourself, why am I not invited? Hopefully when I start trading next month, we can actually... Is this one for me? Hopefully once I start the challenge, the account can be up by a little bit. And then I can actually have the terminal open. And when I execute, you will see me execute live. I'm using a standard account, and I think I took the 200% deposit bonus. No, the 250. No, sorry, it's a 200. 200% bonus account, because obviously once you start with the small account, your first, like, I think I technically have maybe 3 shots. So I need to make very sure that the first trade I take is a winner. And when you do a small account challenge, I would obviously say the hardest part is getting it to like 10, 20k. Because once you get to 10, 20k, it leaves you some margin for error. Then you can risk like say 10% of the account, 10, 15%. And once you get to like 100k, then it becomes quite easy. Like if you take it from say a $2k, $100 to 100k, and you blow the account, that is just silly, because you can then drop your risk down to like 5% and still churn it. So I would say the hardest part is getting it to 10k. 10k is going to be your first milestone. 10k, then I would say your next milestone will be like 20k. And I would say once you reach like 20, 25k, then the pressure is off. It gives you some room to maybe add to a position once it's moving in your favor. But with a small account, you literally have 3 shots. So you're either gonna do it in 3, or you're gonna unfortunately have to restart. On that note, do you have you in the chat have taken a small account to say like quite a big amount? I think I've told the story of how I think it took me like 2 years, but I took a 3k to 250k, but that was when I started out. So there were a lot of wins and losses, 1 step forward, 3 steps back, then a big win. Then at some stages you have the no stop losses. Like, yeah, thinking back, it's actually trauma how I traded that account. But that account literally put me in a position where I was comfortable trading. Geeks, that was you a few years ago, flipping accounts daily. Sorry, you muted, but your mic's off.
Yeah, that's all I did was flip accounts. I mean, I used to even say to people, like, what I used to do was put in, for example, like 1,000 Rand. And like, I would full margin that. So what I put in was what I was prepared to lose, literally for that day. So I would put that in, trade, and make my profits and withdraw. And then tomorrow, just rinse and repeat. And then like after making like a good amount of profits for like say the week, like a Thursday, Friday, you know there's gonna be a lot of news, I'll put in like a good amount of money, and then I'll basically trade that news event. And then you flip it into something massive, or like Chris was saying earlier, you after grafting the whole week, you literally blow so much of that amount.
To some extent, I feel like that is a good way of going into it. So, for instance, especially if psychology is something that you struggle with, to initially start off by putting in the amount that you want to lose for the day, or your max loss. So if you're willing to lose 500 bucks, like only put a 500 buck in your trading account, and then obviously, let's say you want to take 2 bullets, divide your risk into 250 per trade, and then you go for it. And then later on, when you're comfortable and you've got a bigger account, then you can obviously calculate your risk. But I feel like it's a good way to remove that psychological thing of losing funds. MGI, I think if we can get a break and close below here, you should be good. If not, I would suggest taking some partials here at the daily pivot, but as mentioned, we are bearish on this, so good luck with that trade. Guys, nothing for me. GU sitting at the session lows. I'm gonna wait for a pullback during NYSE. Gold as well, sitting right here at the Asia lows. Nothing for me there. Pound yen as well. I wanted something here at the half round or at the Asia highs. It is Monday. be patient. There is a lot going on this week. There's going to be a lot of opportunities. You don't have to rush anything. We're literally 2 hours into the new trading week. And think about it mentally. How is it going to mentally affect you if you already take a loss now? So for me, it's not about the pips necessarily. For me, it's about the mental gain. So if I can start the week off with a good trade where I waited for it, I planned for the trade, I executed, and I start the week on a win, that is already mentally, the mental gain is a lot more precious than the actual dollar gain. Because for me personally, I need to protect my psychology. That's why I rather like to go for one-to-one trades, because mentally it feels better to have a lot of wins. That's why if you are a trader that goes for high risk to reward trades, like say 1 to 10, 1 to 15, unfortunately you're going to have to take a lot of knocks as well. And for me personally, I don't like it. If I have to take 3-4 losses in a row and then only on the 5th do I get that massive winner that basically wipes out the losses, it's not something I like. So I would rather have a 70% win rate but take one-to-one trades than having say a 40% win rate with 10 or 15 hour trades. But that's it, guys. Nothing for me. If you've missed the analysis, go to the start. As I mentioned, I want to look for some buys from the weekly pivot here on US30. I am bearish for the week, but again, as mentioned, I first want to see us pull back to start off the week, vice versa. GU as well. I'm going to monitor the daily pivot as well as the Asia highs. Other than that, if we start trading back above the Asia lows, we still have this weekly pivot. So we could push all the way. I'm just putting it out there. We could push all the way up here and then only reject from there to go lower. But in this session, I can honestly say there's nothing high probability for me. There's not a single trade that I can say with 100% conviction I like. We took a punt on GU on the shorts for potential flush. Failed to do anything here. And what you can potentially now start seeing is the pullback before NYSE. With that being said, guys, I really appreciate everyone on the stream. Be sure to like. Does the opening gap of US30 need to be filled? Hardest, I prefer for the gap to be filled first. It is very seldom that you just get a breakaway trade from a gap. So for me mentally, if I enter a trade, I think it was last year somewhere where GJ also had a Sunday open gap, and I was trying to buy it, completely forgot about the gap and price. Like on Friday, I told you guys the gap on DXY is going to act like a magnet. I think we were in the session and I told you guys, be aware, we are trading at session hours, and I said this is going to act like a magnet. And after taking out the highs 10 o'clock, we literally just traded straight down to go and fill that gap. So personally, I don't like trading with gaps open. I would love for it to be filled. That's why I said I'll be monitoring the weekly pivot, either for sales later this afternoon or for buyers depending on my AD, but currently still very bullish. That's the session, guys. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for the support. Do subscribe. We will see you guys tomorrow. I just want to check our load shedding schedule, because I think we had load shedding scheduled for tomorrow. Let me just see. Yes, so currently as it stands, we've got load shedding from 8 till 10. What I'll do is I'll start the stream at 10 o'clock. If everything is set at 10, we'll start the stream at 10. Hopefully the market hasn't moved too much and we can execute live. Otherwise, what I'll do is let me know in the chat, would you guys rather prefer me not streaming the London session but streaming the New York session? Let me know in the chat. Due to load shedding tomorrow, should I rather stream NYSE with you guys? Because I can potentially do that and we move the stream to 3 o'clock and then I can trade NYSE with you. Let me know in the chat, guys, and then I can make a call on it. Or let's make it this way. If you want me to stream NYSE, give me a peach in the chat. Let's see how many peaches we get. 50 peaches. Stream NYSE with us. I am Madla. We're gonna start streaming it from next month every day as well. I still want to do the London streams. I still feel for currency pairs this is your best time to trade. You'll usually catch either the low or the high of the session. And the New York streams are pretty straightforward as well. I've got a very set criteria for it, so we are going to do that. But again, guys, it's 11 at 5 past 11. Stay safe, trade safe. I will see you then tomorrow for NYSE. Not going to stream in the morning due to load shedding, but we are going live half an hour before the open. That is 3 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. What is the time now? It's 5 past 5 in New York. So half an hour before the open, I will see you guys there. Trade safe, get your accounts ready. If you have not yet registered, use the link in the description. Also starting the $100 challenge, all set, ready to go. Potentially first trade this afternoon, otherwise the first trade will be with you guys tomorrow afternoon. Geeks, any closing remarks, any motivation you want to give the guys for the week? Now's your time. Shoot them with some motivation.
I think, guys, remember, this isn't a race. It's not about how slow or how fast you get there, but as long as you get to that goal at the end. So let's not rush it. Like Chris said, still very early days in the market in this week. Don't rush it. Wait for your opportunities. As I always say to people, don't chase the market. Let the market come to you. So wait for those opportunities, guys.
Nice, guys, and I'm rooting for all of you. That's why I do these streams, not to get any money out of you, but to purely help you guys and all of us here trying to help the trading community. Obviously also want to thank Volt, our broker partner, for the opportunity, for sharing it with all of the clients. And yeah, guys, win or lose, we are here for you, and let's have a smashing week. Stay positive and follow your rules. Appreciate it, guys. See you guys tomorrow afternoon. Share with your mates, share with your friends, share with your sister, share with your mother. Let's build these streams. Let's make this the biggest community in SA, where all of us are going up and we leave no man behind. So peace and love. See you guys tomorrow. Let's go.